Greetings from Shakti Echoes from Bharat. Today we have with us all the way from West Bengal, Dr. Anirban Ganguly. Dr. Ganguly is known to be a scholar turned politician. That's how the internet describes him, that he's BJP scholar turned politician. So, like we've seen in the last few weeks and also the past several couple years actually, there are so many concerning events and instances that are coming out of here. And it is very essential to separate reality from the noise that we see in the media today. So that is why we have Dr. Ganguly here to help us understand Bengal politics and really understand how bad the situation is when it comes to, violent episodes that we hear about. So let's get started, Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to Shakti Echoes.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And this is really making, as I understand, Shakti Echoes is making a lot of waves.
Yes, specifically in the youth, sir.
Yes.
In the 19 to 30 age group, we see a lot of people interested in these clean conversations, to help them understand what's really happening.
Very interesting.
Yes. So let's get started without any further delay. Sir, sabse pehle, first I want to understand the underlying cause of the violence. Okay, we've seen there was a lot of post-poll violence in Bengal. Now we are hearing about other sorts of political violence. So where is this violence coming from? I have three things. Is it political? Is it coming from some sort of land mafia Raj, Gunda Raj type situation? Is it communal? Like, where is this violence coming from?
This violence has been there in West Bengal for the last 5 decades. It has been violent politics in West Bengal. When the left ruled for 35 years, the left's one a major dimension and aspect of left's politics was this violence. It based itself on that violence. Later on, when the left was unseated, the ruling party which has come to power in the last 12 years, the Trinamool Congress, it has adopted left's method and further, if I may say, refined those methods of violence. Now, these violence, it's all, even if it is land grabbing, if it is, it's connected to the politics. Okay. If it is violence on women, it is connected to the politics of the day. And obviously there is, because West Bengal is a state which has been divided, which West Bengal was created after the division of Bengal. And so the communal aspect, the communal dimension has always been there in West Bengal politics.
Okay.
And so partition, the communal aspect, then violent politics introduced by the left and further perfected by the TMC, all this is connected to the political violence that is seen in West Bengal today. And in 2021, you're right, in 2021, no other state saw violence, the kind of violence that was witnessed in West Bengal.
Which is so surprising, right? Because we see Mamata Banerjee give sermons, and her party actually, even leaders of her party, give sermons on protection of democracy, free rights to the media. See, audiences have to understand there's also like a language barrier. So by the time that information about the violence reach other parts of the country, it's already too late. It's already on a scale that it has to be reported in mainstream media.
Very true.
So people who consider themselves as upholders of democracy, these are the people who are protecting this kind of violence and people who sort of perpetrate this kind of violence. Why? What is the political compulsion of something like this?
I think the political compulsion is because West Bengal, had it been, if I may be very frank, had it been a BJP ruled state, had West Bengal had a BJP chief minister, and first of all, had that been the case, such things wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Supposing they happened, it would have been much more trumpeted by a section of the media, by a section of the intelligentsia than it is being done now.
Yes.
Since it's a non-BJP dispensation, there's a very selective approach. There's a very selective approach on what you're going to highlight and not highlight. For example, the Sandesh Khali episode, which the entire country came to know. This has been happening for the last 12 years. It's just when the absolutely oppressed ladies, women of that of that locality, of Sandesh Khali region, protested, that the entire thing erupted in such a way that the national media, the intelligentsia couldn't keep quiet about it anymore. Though a section of the intelligentsia still is very selective. They have
Yes.
not spoken out.
Yes.
They have not taken out candlelight marches and all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So, the question then comes here of credibility. When you are speaking, when she speaks about, and a section of the intelligentsia speaks about human rights, about women empowerment, here we have a prime minister who speaks about women-led development, and he is actually showing it, proving it at every level. But those who speak about women rights are completely silent.
Yes.
Those who speak about human rights are completely silent.
Yes.
Those who speak about democratic and political rights were completely silent when post-poll violence took place in West Bengal. Unprecedented post-poll violence.
Yes.
Unprecedented post-poll
How bad
violence.
was it?
It was extremely bad. I mean, it's very difficult to explain how bad it was, because that violence had actually percolated right into the grassroots. You see, you live in the same village, you are committed to different political parties and ideologies. This is something which is very natural.
Yes.
In Bengal, that has completely evaporated. It has been decimated. The new normal is, if you live in a village, you have to owe allegiance to the ruling party, or you can't continue living in that village. If you insist on living in that village, then you are socially boycotted, at times economically boycotted. The violence was at such level that even vaccines were denied to BJP supporters.
Oh,
Even
gosh.
they could not, those who were small shopkeepers, small
Yeah.
traders, couldn't open their shops. Large number had to migrate out of the villages, go to the neighboring state. So this was the scale of violence. I mean, did I even hear the articulate intelligentsia who go off to Oxford and say how Modi is decimating human rights in India, who go off to Harvard and say Modi is strangulating democracy in India? I did not see them do a workshop.
No, so this is systematic. So this
Very
violence
systematic.
is systematic.
Very systematic. State sponsored also. State sponsored.
So BJP, which is essentially their primary opposition party here, is not able to build an organizational workforce to ever compete with the ruling dispensation.
You see, that is what they have been trying.
Yeah.
The intention of that violence is that there is no opposition,
Yes.
that there is no opposition voice or view.
Much like the emergency.
Much like the emergency.
Yeah.
The emergency was declared. I say this is an undeclared emergency in West Bengal.
Yes.
But in spite of that, the BJP has bounced back. Is bouncing back. Because after all, we are a party which has had a ideological lineage.
Yes.
And as Prime Minister often says, that, we are a party which has grown up by being in the opposition.
Yes.
There are a number of parties. If you look at, you are a better historian of post-independence Indian politics. A number of opposition parties have actually disappeared.
Yeah.
They have not been able to survive the
Yes.
moment they have been out of power.
Yes.
We have survived. The BJP has survived for 50 years.
Yes.
And from 3, it has come to a
Yes.
scale
Yeah.
of 303.
Yes. Yes.
And now Prime Minister is talking about 370.
Yes.
So I think in spite of all that systematic, state-sponsored, state-aided
Yeah.
violence, yes, it took some time for the BJP to get back.
Yeah.
It has bounced back again.
Right. Since we're on the topic of violence and especially violence towards women, coming to Sandesh Khali, which is a more topical
Yes.
issue right now,
Yes.
it seems like, finally, for the viewers who don't have a context here, Hindu women were sought out by TMC goons, and those that were attractive were taken away and molested, raped. Their modesty was abused by TMC party leaders in TMC workplace,
Yes,
in the
offices.
TMC offices. While Shahjahan Sheikh, who was the ringman of this entire nexus, while he's been arrested, and much to the TMC's opposition, the case has been transferred to the
Yes.
CBI now. His brother still roams free, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And the women are now rising against the brother who has now inherited that nexus, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. You see, this entire Shahjahan Sheikh, his brother, his accomplices, this is just the manifestation of a deeper nexus which is there in politics of West Bengal, in the body politic of West Bengal. And so what I have termed this, that these TMC leaders have used women as political slaves, that you exploit them because you are in power, you create an atmosphere of fear where they cannot go and seek justice. They are on the back foot because they are largely illiterate and from the marginalized community. Because you control the system, you control the administration, you have the muscle and the mafia with you, you go and dominate them, you go and take control of their lands, you destroy their paddy fields by ensuring that saline, the seawater enters into it. You create such a situation, and then since the administration, the police is under your control, you can't even ensure that they go and complain. Because those complaints will not be taken. And so what the TMC has essentially done is, where it has outdone the left is, it has brought in such elements to the mainstream of their politics. The left always kept them at the margins. The left, I think they were more, they had a sophisticated ways of handling criminals, perhaps, if one can say that. But the TMC has brought them mainstream.
Yes.
It has made them the face of their politics. And through intimidation, through control, through intimidation and through fear, it has not only perpetuated its political control, but it has also enlarged its, its assets through these people.
So very, very sad, because this is the state where we have the only female chief minister. It is the land of Ma Kali. This is where women ideally should have been feeling most secure, but they're feeling most abused and most vulnerable currently. So what I now want to understand is where these people from, like Shah Jahan Sheikh, come from. Like, for instance, we talk about illegal immigration. We talk about how West Bengal is one of those states where illegal immigration is not stopped or allowed to just sort of become mainstream, where there is an intention to change demography. Why? Why is it such a big issue, and how is this political? Why is this important politically, illegal immigration?
It's very similar to the situation in Assam. In Assam, obviously now things are turning around. But West Bengal and Assam and a portion of Bihar have always been affected by illegal immigration. And if I may, mention here, this is a very famous, the former director of IBU later on became a governor of West Bengal. And he was a very close acolyte of the Gandhi family. He was not a BJP person, not an RSS person. And he made a study while as governor of West Bengal in 1989-90, TV Rajeshwar. And in his survey, in his tours across West Bengal, in 89-90, he writes that about 50 assembly segments, the electoral results in these 50 assembly segments are controlled, would be determined by illegal infiltrators. So the Congress and the CPM, the left in the past, have encouraged that kind of illegal immigration, and these settled along the border areas. And then the TMC has further based its politics on that vote bank, on that illegal infiltrator vote bank. So that it's a captive vote bank. And that's a vote bank which, because of political compulsions and political alignments, have traditionally supported these parties. But which is very dangerous for a state like West Bengal, which is because it has a long border, it has a long international border.
And also, this is like slow poison for the country, right? In the national security point of view also, that you're going to keep letting them come in, give them all kinds of voting rights, mainstream some of them in your politics.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So where does it stop? And imagine, now see, there are so many constituencies. Now you're fighting from Jadavpur, but there are so many constituencies. I was looking at the breakup. Some of the constituencies have a shocking
increase.
Yes,
absolutely.
A shocking increase in minority populations.
Yes.
Like Diamond Harbour.
Diamond Harbour is there. Then Murshidabad is there on top. As you go towards North Bengal, then parts of Nadia also along the border.
So if this is not stopped, you'll see this on the rise in many other constituencies as well in the
Absolutely.
future. And they'll never vote for the BJP,
No,
these illegal immigrants.
And this is the challenge because West Bengal was created from Bengal due to a historic reason.
Yeah.
And the reason was that this portion of Bengal, which is a Hindu majority, must form a separate state because Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had said, and that's where the entire this debate comes in. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee had said we can't allow 45% of Hindus of undivided Bengal to be held hostage and to be allowed to go into Pakistan.
Yes.
So he said, please give us a state.
Yes.
We want to remain with India.
Yes.
And we want a Hindu majority where the Bengali Hindu can live on their own, perpetuate their culture, preserve their legacy, their heritage.
Yes.
And so, I say 75 years down the line, we should remember that was the raison d'etre of the formation of West Bengal. But then over the decades, the kind of infiltration that has come, that has taken place, that has been encouraged by these ruling parties, have actually posed a challenge to that identity of West Bengal. And I'm not talking about the minorities who have stayed back in West Bengal. I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about these Rohingyas and all these who have been coming in and who have been creating a belt along the border areas. And not only me, even, I am, General Shankar Chowdhury, former chief of staff, he even raised this issue. He said the border has, as a Rajya Sabha member, you must have forgotten it now because of compulsion, he may not speak about it. As the border has shifted 20 kilometers inside because of the illegal infiltration in West Bengal. So these are issues that will have to be addressed long term, and that's why border fencing, then focused development of border areas that the Modi government has undertaken. Simanta Vikas and all that, the entire program, that is extremely important, extremely crucial for Bengal.
We will move to the last segments of our conversation. I forgot to mention this in Sir's introduction, but he has been running Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Foundation for very long. For how many years, sir?
It's now about 12 years.
For 12 years. And now he is contesting the Jadavpur seat, which is supposed to be a very prestigious constituency as per the internet. Oddly, the TMC has fielded a candidate who is a polar opposite human being and candidate when it comes to political choices. So, can you help me understand why Jadavpur is such a prestigious constituency, one, and B, who is getting the pulse of the constituency wrong? Because one party is, since they fielded such opposite candidates.
I think Jadavpur is prestigious because in the past it has had a number of stalwarts representing it. And in fact, Mamata Banerjee started her political career here by defeating Somnath Chatterjee, who was equally a stalwart of the left. Jadavpur has the Jadavpur University, which is an offshoot, which is a product of the national education movement, which was led by stalwarts like Sri Aurobindo and others. So, and Jadavpur also has since it's one of the largest geographical space adjacent to Kolkata, and it has had eminent people living here. It has a cultural dimension of its own, and these places like Baruipur, Sonarpur are so intrinsically linked with Bengal's history. In that sense, therefore, Buddhadev Bhattacharya had Jadavpur Assembly as his constituency as chief minister. So all this is there, past in history. And so that's why it's seen as a very, South Kolkata and Jadavpur are seen as very important seats.
But oddly, there is the candidate who is standing from the TMC, she put up a very vulgar post on Mahashivratri some years ago. See, it is also this thinking, right? Now, I've heard this from several people who I know. They say, why should we vote for the BJP? BJP keeps saying Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Ram does not resonate with Bengal. We are Devi worshippers, hence TMC. This to me, this logic is not making sense in my head. Because, like they say in Hindi, that aap Sitaram bhajo, Radhesham bhajo, Mahadev, we are sitting outside a Shankar Mandir, Mahadev bhajo, ya Adi Shakti bhajo. But the politics of TMC is just completely eradicating Sanatan altogether. they are not even going to allow you to, pray to Shakti. If they are going to start appeasing all of these minorities that they are making mainstream. So, see, now they are also fielding a candidate who is doing
Exactly,
this.
I was exactly coming to that. Absolutely. No, I mean, you see, it clearly shows the kind of their attitude, their mindset, their approach to the Sanatanis and our Sanatan Dharma.
Yes.
And so that is why brazenly they could feel such a candidate who has such a atrocious track record abusing one of the greatest deities
Yes.
of Sanatanis,
Yes.
whom lakhs and millions of women also worship.
Yes.
So I mean, that brazenness, I think, comes from the arrogance of power.
Yes.
You think you can get away with anything? One. And those who say that, to them, I would like to say, those who say that Ram, why, bringing in Ram has had a long tradition of being worshipped in Bengal. I mean, if you go to Nadia, Shantipur was the birthplace of Kirtibas, who translated the Ramayana in Bangla. So it has a long history.
Yes.
Ram Pujan,
Yes.
Ram Puja, worship of Sri Ram has a long history in Bengal.
Yes.
But, the fundamental question is that if things stand as they are today, and if we are to look into the future and if we can't retrieve our space in West Bengal, then will there be any space left for the Sanatanis to worship whom they want to?
Yes.
Will that space, because that was one of the original demands of the formation of West Bengal.
Yes.
We want our own state space where we can worship,
Yes.
preserve our methods of worship.
Yeah.
So can we do that? I
Yeah.
mean, I see a huge challenge with this kind of dispensation in power.
Absolutely.
To give an example, the one that from Basirhat, the candidate that they have announced, Haji Nurul Islam, was one of the kingpins of the Deganga riots in 2010, and that Deganga riot had started because he and his followers there were trying to prevent Hindus from celebrating and observing Durga Puja in Deganga. So this is your track record.
Yes.
So let us not, I would appeal to everyone, let us not complain about Ram or Shakti or Durga or Ma
Exactly.
Kali. There's a long tradition of their worship in Bengal, but please decide whether you want to preserve the space of worship.
Of Sanatan?
Of Sanatan,
yeah,
this
there is a
space.
Sanatan and then there is a no Sanatan.
No Sanatan.
Yes, yes.
So are you wanting that no Sanatan space to expand in West Bengal, which
Yes.
was created for Sanatanis in that
Yes,
sense?
yes, absolutely. Before I let you go, last question. What do you think about the BJP's performance in the upcoming polls?
I think it's going to be phenomenal nationally. There's no question about it, because this is for electing Prime Minister Narendra Modi as third time as Prime Minister, which is unprecedented in the history,
Yes.
and especially in the history of Janasangh and BJP.
Yes.
And in Bengal, BJP is going to perform its previous performance.
Excellent.
I'm very
Super.
clear on that. I can
Super.
I can see it.
Super. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Ganguly, for
Thank you.
giving us your time.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
inviting me.